You see the strat from Fnatic, you're thinking, okay, this is already looking very good, but they're going up against G2, who have got a lot of comfort picks of their own.
And now we expect to see that mid lane pinch, so you can already see the Syndra go through. If they also want to get rid of the Corki, a very safe champion into both the Sylas and the Akali that can survive it and try to hyper scale for that late game.
Pinching the mid lane here by Fnatic does mean that that AD carry will be left open. The Kai'Sa is still a very viable option for G2. We saw them flash it earlier on. G2 trying to remove some of the stronger supports from Hylissang with the Thresh back.
I think it's really easy. PerkZ has so many options he can go towards. So not necessarily just the Kai'Sa, but also the Ezreal, especially if that is going to be Mickey's Pyke roaming around. Ezreal will be a very safe pick, which is why I'm glad that Fnatic say, no. You will lane against us. You don't get to just sit back and farm with Q and allow Mickey to cause terror everywhere.
Yeah, it looks like they want to try and put perks on the Kai'Sa. Fnatic could be looking at a Nautilus pick for themselves. Save the flexibility until the final rotation on red side. We'll see what G2 look to ban away, and it will be the Shen. So they want to try and deny that both in support along with on the top side for Fnatic.
Yeah, getting rid of the Shen, getting rid of one of those globals that was so impactful in the series last week. Now, Fnatic have a couple of options here. Could look to pick their support, so they have a counter pick up last, and that seems to be where they're going.
The Morgana and the Nautilus are kind of the two picks that stand out. How much safety do you want versus how much engaged you need to break?
Ooh, the Jax. This is actually something that was banned heavily. Oh, okay, they're going to make an immediate pivot towards the Leona. Very lane-dominant champion. Provides a lot of crowd control in team fights as well. With a quick response from G2, going for the Lucian. And this could be Caps' LeBlanc.
You have to bring the mobility. Now you're dealing with a long-range engage tool, because that's what Fnatic were really missing, which is why I didn't like the Morgana hover. They need the Leona ultimate to really kick things off for them, because otherwise it's so hard to start fights. But that means in response, G2 grab things with dashes, the LeBlanc, the Lucian. It's going to be very difficult to lock them down and to find that ult.
I mean, the great thing for Fnatic there was they knew that LeBlanc had been locked in. They knew where G2 were taking these champions, and so they had that counter pick for last. They lock in the Jax. They say, we'll take Sylas in the jungle, we'll take Akali in the mid lane, and we'll try and have some of these scaling threats later in the game.
But outside of just the scaling threats, Fnatic have a very well-balanced composition. You look at that, you can easily see the 1-3-1 capabilities at the post-level 6 as soon as Sylas is 6 in that jungle. But also, first item Akali, super powerful. First item Xayah to 3 items Xayah, incredibly powerful. I think they've got every single base covered, no matter what point it is of the game.
I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of skirmishing. I'm looking at this draft from G2 and I see so much mobility, as Frost was saying, and I feel like that they don't need a huge amount of items to be strong. They only need that level 6 mark. Once they get those early levels under their belt, they can start looking for fights, looking to try and shut down this Jax. And I think that's going to be extremely important for G2, because if you just freely leave this Fnatic composition to scale, as you said, Frost, they have those options, they have those items, they have the champions and the comp in order to challenge G2 in these mid to late game fights.
Which is why I'm looking at a pick like our MVP, Jankos, having something like a Gragas, the ability to get off those early ganks, and he can attack any lane he wants, especially when he starts pairing up with Mickey. We expect this to be about roaming jungle support.
Well, we are almost ready for game 1 of this best of 5. Fnatic versus G2, the final that everyone expected, the final everyone was waiting for. These two titans of European League of Legends clashing on Summoner's Rift once again. We want fire and fury, we want fights and failures, we want bloodshed. Fnatic G2, this is your moment. Europe is watching, the world is watching, and they are waiting to see just how much you've got.
And what better way to do it than with locking in some of the signature picks for both of these teams. The Pyke for Mickey. We get to see Hylissang's Leona. Now, admittedly, not one of his signature picks, but something that I'm sure will create a lot of chaos, especially once he hits that level 6 mark. One of the big things about Leona is that while she is skill shot reliant, her chain CC, her ability to stack on top of setup for the Xayah's feathers, means that if a single one lands, you're likely gonna die.
It also means that if Mickey does pick his moments to roam, Fnatic have brought tools to punish PerkZ if he's ever alone in the lane with that chain CC and with that zone control that you're talking about that Xayah and Leona can bring.
And as much as Leona is a champion that you can see Hylissang playing, the aggressive playstyle, the ability to make plays, he hasn't played it since 2015 on Unicorns of Love. He's only played it 4 times in LEC history. This is a callback for Hylissang, and we'll see just how effective he can be on it.
We're also going to be looking at this top lane matchup as well, because every time Bwipo played against the Kled last week, he was struggling. He didn't get jungle resources, he was left on an island, and Wunder got the better of him every single time. Now, he's on a matchup where he can actually skirmish and fight him in the early game, and he outscales the Kled later on into the game. You can already see he's getting a lot of successful trades down against Wunder, and this is going to be a big point that Fnatic can look to leverage early on.
Hylissang trading here onto Mickey. The Zenith Blade lands, Ignite goes down onto Hylissang, and Mickey's flash away, but the Ignite is taking it back! PerkZ tries to answer back, but Fnatic strike first.
And 2 minutes into the game, Fnatic's bot lane again pushed G2's bot lane around. This is what happened all series the last time these teams faced. But here comes Jankos.
Jankos coming in, the root caller's going to land though, and PerkZ just about able to escape. Jankos flashes forward, looking for the slow onto Rekkles. PerkZ will take the kill, and now Hylissang has to walk away.
This was the bloodshed that we all came for. This is G2 versus Fnatic already. The 2 versus 2 kills coming down bot. Jankos has now hit level 3. And Broxah is back in base, so the likelihood of a counter gank not going to come down from the side of Fnatic.
But again, just to re-emphasize, it was Mickey the last time these teams faced.
Jankos going back in, Rekkles, base check straight into it, but he'll take down PerkZ, and here comes Hylissang! The TP comes in! Jankos takes down Rekkles, but Hylissang's going to get counter kill, and now double TP's coming in. Bwipo and Wunder join the fight in the bottom lane. Hylissang trying to survive, flashes forward, stuns up Mickey, it's a double for Hylissang! And now Wunder and Bwipo are going to fight. Wunder has the red buff, but Bwipo can keep chasing in. Wunder's going to get dismounted, now Bwipo realizes he can't fight anymore. Broxah was on his way down, but he can't find the connection.
G2 recognize that the jungler could be in the bot side of the map. Bwipo does have a level advantage
it's a big
right
crash.
now. They don't want to try and dive Wunder. He's too difficult on the champion. Already 7 kills, 3.5 minutes into the game.
And the important thing being that all of those summoners are now down for those bot lanes. So I think it's only going to continue to snowball from here. I see no reason for either of these teams to let up on the aggression of the bot lane. The TPs are down, the flashes are down, and you have so much CC and setup for these junglers.
So Wunder will be able to back first, start making his way up towards top lane, and he needs to do that because if we have a look at the top lane wave, there's actually a slow push, and while Broxah looks for a gank in mid.
Broxah going in, Caps poured out a little bit here, Nemesis looking for the shuriken, but won't quite connect, and Caps is going to jump back. Should be able to survive this pretty easily.
So with the information that Jankos has on Broxah, he's able to invade towards the top side and actually steal away some of these raptors. A huge wave is going to be stacking up towards top lane, and I wonder if G2 could look for a gank. Bwipo does have his flash available, and you can see Jankos pathing his way up top.
And you already briefly mentioned the dive potential of Kled. You were talking about his safety, of course, his ability to juggle the aggro with Skarl, so they could look for a play like this.
Jankos has been spotted out, teleport available for Nemesis. Broxah coming down towards the bottom lane as Mickey will just jump away. Jankos is behind this, but not looking for the dive yet.
It's too dangerous now that Nemesis has reset and has access to the TP, so wisely G2 say, we're going to let it crash. We can't follow the Akali up, let it go.
So as we crest the 5-minute mark, it's been action-packed, but let's have a look at exactly how these early kills have affected the game. There's only 600 gold between the 2 teams. Fnatic slightly ahead. You've got the remnant of the aspect finished on Hylissang. His support item is up there, but in terms of AD carries, they're still both pretty even in that bottom lane.
Really, a big difference was also the fact that Mickey, having gold to go for the boots, didn't get to upgrade any of his support itemization, so we'll see if he's able to either get back to the lane faster with those boots, keep himself topped up, or start making more plays, kind of skirmishing in this early jungle with the added mobility.
Broxah is investing a huge amount of time towards the bot side of the map. He's here to offer some support towards Fnatic. He recognizes that they're pushing in this lane. He wants to be there so that they can push it underneath the tower and get the bounce back. I don't think they should go for a dive, even though there are no summoners. Jankos is in position, but Nemesis is making the row.
Especially because that cleanse on PerkZ just about to come up.
They're looking for it. Better to pop here by Jankos. He starts to run away, but G2 wants to defend that tower. Don't want to lose these plates too early. Zenith Blade doesn't quite connect, and that is G2's go signal to try and get back to the tower. 1 plate forward for Mickey. Could look for the Stewart. Hits Hylissang. The rest of Fnatic can't hear anymore. Hylissang so tanky, but at the moment, PerkZ is just shredding through him. Nemesis coming in from the side, has that level 6, but won't come in for the gank.
G2 are just wasting Fnatic's time right now. Nemesis is in between 2 lanes, not really sure whether he should come and help for the fight. Meanwhile, Mickey is continuing the chase.
Now, while Fnatic didn't get anything off of that, and I agree with you that G2 did buy up a lot of the time on the play, Fnatic also didn't really lose anything. They got the plate, the wave had been pushed in by Nemesis in the mid lane, so he had room to make the roam, and Bwipo is continuing to be a terror up into that top side. You can't see anything reflected in the CS, so overall, I still call it a win for Fnatic.
Looking at Hylissang right now, something that he often likes to do every time he resets is look for a roam. But given that there are no summoners towards the bot side of the map, it looks like that he's actually just going to head straight towards bot lane. I think he wants to respect the fact that Nemesis does need to reset, pick up a couple more items, and respect to him in this matchup, even though he's looked for a couple of roams and has struggled in terms of the 1v1 against LeBlanc, he's staying relatively close in the farm.
And speaking of roams, we now see the mobility boots on Mickey. Frosky mentioned it earlier on. He does like to look for some of these ganks, help out Caps, try and get some of these skirmishes early on.
It's mid-time, boys.
Now, Mickey has hit level 4. This is usually the level around which both supports like to roam around the map, but because Hylissang prioritized upgrading his vision trinket, he's not going for mobility boots, so instead he's focusing more on playing around Rekkles and helping him get through what has been a pretty chaotic laning phase.
And really, he's just clearing out a nice pathway for more ganks. Jankos now slipping in underneath this lane, but Mickey has gone all up and down that river and knows that it's clear for now with Fnatic vision.
So let's have a look at what summoner spells are available. Flashes have come up for PerkZ, Mickey, and Rekkles. None available on Hylissang right now. TP's unavailable, and Wunder is making a roam towards bot. G2 heavily investing in this play.
Great flash away from Rekkles. Hylissang will be able to tank this up for the moment. Mickey's going to land the skewer, the pullback. Jankos there with the belly bump, and then shut down. Hylissang is going to fall. Rekkles underneath the tower, but they could look for a further dive.
Beautifully executed from G2. No flash available on Hylissang. He tried to use the minion to avoid it, and then the smite comes down from Jankos to allow Mickey to land the bone skewer. G2 find a kill, they equalize the kill score, and they're going to grab themselves some plates.
But they still have pulled Wunder. He's walked all the way here, now probably going through mid lane to get back into the top lane as the wave's crashing into him. Bwipo will pick up another plate and has so much more CS underneath him.
Look at Mickey.
Waited in the bush. Broxah is just around at the corner. Rekkles maybe thinking that he could be in there. Mickey will just about complete his back. Bwipo still in the top lane pushing in, looking for that second plate. Wunder is on his way up, and early on in this game, it has been absolute chaos, I have to say.
Now we can see a gold difference starting to be built towards Fnatic. A part of it is up towards the top side of the map, but it's also being built in the bot lane thanks to those early kills that Rekkles picked up. Wunder actually coming out pretty ahead in this trade.
Just to use the bear trap on the rope. Now he has the pocket pistol. Bwipo's going to jump away, but Wunder still has the flash. Bwipo has a flash of his own if he wants to try and get out of this. We're looking for the counter strike. Nemesis kills Caps in the mid lane and 1v1. Wunder flashes away. Bwipo chases him down, and Fnatic find 2 quick kills.
Fnatic answer immediately as Bwipo comes up huge and Broxah finds a successful kill in the mid lane. Fnatic showcasing what they showcased last week. They can go toe-to-toe against G2 in the early game. They can match them individually, and they will punish them when they make these mistakes.
And it goes from bad to worse for Wunder up in this top lane. He made a very long roam as we take a look back at this mid lane play, and now Bwipo's just getting further and further ahead of him.
Caps tries to use his fancy feet to avoid this situation. Mickey does what he can to assist, but the mobility of Nemesis and Broxah and the fact that Caps was so far up in the lane made it easy for the Fnatic mid-jungle duo to secure that kill, and now Fnatic extend their gold lead to 2K.
And some questions we asked coming into Pick and Ban was, have Fnatic got something new? Will G2 be able to read them like they read them in the final 3 games of the best of 5 last week? Well, Fnatic are showing us just how strong they can be in the early game as they go for a fight in the top lane. Jankos goes golden for a second, Bwipo's on the chase, but he doesn't really have too much mana. Broxah with the Kingslayer will heal up, Wunder's on his way, doesn't have the charge, but Broxah's going to be slowed up, and Jankos is just looking for the belly bot. Broxah able to get behind the minions. Bwipo stuck underneath this tower, but I don't think G2 can go for this. Maybe they can. Caps on his way. Bwipo just needs enough for the leap strike, but he's caught out, and Caps will get his first kill of the finals.
And you can see there, Wunder dismounted from Skarl. They were always going to go for that dive. They knew they have a perfect champion like Kled to empower that ability, and now they're going to force out the TP from Bwipo.
It looks like Bwipo overstayed in the top lane, and that allowed G2 to reset back on the map and set up for that dive. Broxah, unfortunately, was not in a position where he could really help, and Caps was able to find a successful roam up towards the top side. We can now see a lot of level 6s coming through for the supports, some cresting the level 9 mark as well, and those first items slowly getting closer to being completed.
And once again, thinking back to last week, as we go through this replay, we'll see just how G2 execute this dive, because at this point, I thought it was pretty much over.
Yeah, but the key thing to note is that Caps is setting to roam up towards top. Nemesis wants to try and answer, but he can't. He has to catch this mid wave. So G2 have the time to overcommit to the
There's
dive.
a fight going on.
Happens.
Mykix caught out. Rekkles will take him out. And PerkZ underneath the tower can do nothing to help his support. Jankos was coming in. The Cullen comes out, and PerkZ just chips away at Hylissang's health bar, but he is way too healthy. He can stay around. Broxah actually working his way down into this bottom bush, maybe looking for the 3-on-1 dive. We'll see if Fnatic can execute as the Oracle's lanes is being popped here by Broxah. No ward in the second bush. PerkZ might not know what's coming. Nemesis on his way down. Jankos waiting around the corner to try and defend his AD carry. But it looks like for the moment, Fnatic will be satisfied with turret plates. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Bwipo and Wunder are trading. Bwipo's looking for the plates as well, but Hylissang's going to go in. The cleanse away. PerkZ there. Mickey looking for the stun, will land it. And Hylissang's caught off guard. Shut down comes out from Jankos. The MVP of the split shows his worth for G2. And Mickey comes in just in time to equalize the score.
And while Bwipo was trying to keep Wunder locked down in the top lane because there is a TP discrepancy, the rest of G2 did collapse onto that bot lane terror and finally punish Fnatic for their aggression.
G2 able to answer back. The kills continue to remain the same, but it is Fnatic that are coming out ahead in the gold. Oh, we see Caps looking for Nemesis.
Got straight onto Nemesis, who's in the Twilight Shroud. Nemesis will jump away. Caps goes back, but Broxah now caught off guard. 3-on-1. Jankos takes the kill.
The bloodshed just does not slow down. G2 find themselves another kill onto Broxah, and now PerkZ is top lane.
In the top lane for some reason, and Bwipo was not expecting that. Wunder with a bear trap on the rope will take the kill, and G2 have just put their foot on the accelerator.
And Fnatic just lost track of the back timer. Suddenly PerkZ is now up into the top side of the map, walking all the way up there, and he gets involved. Bwipo has been in Wunder's face this entire game, again, trying to keep this Kled locked down. He also forced out the TP exchange, and I think the bloodshed's going to continue. That's a teleport.
Here we go.
That's Hilly.
Teleport comes in, they're looking for PerkZ, it's Rekkles, it's Nemesis, they're both here for the party. Jankos and Mickey down towards the bottom side, but PerkZ stunned up. The Solar Flare comes down and he eats it all. Rekkles will take him out. And Fnatic have found a pick in the top lane.
And another great punish from the side of Fnatic. I love the fact that they too are not slowing down with their aggression. Great utilization of the teleport from both Nemesis and Rekkles. The punish the overextension. Oh,
G2 just find the catch.
G2 answer with another pick of their own. They find another kill. Fnatic now pushing up towards the top side. If they can secure this play, it's still overall worth it for Fnatic.
And you're still continuing to funnel gold exactly where you need it to be. Broxah in the area, shadowing underneath Hilly and Rekkles to make sure that they can do this safely, because if you step out anywhere, someone's going to find you and kill you.
So thank you very much, observers, for bringing up the gold, because we need to take a look at some of these differences.
Look at
AD carry,
Rekkles.
Rekkles is 1.8k ahead of PerkZ. Caps is ahead of Nemesis by about 700. Jankos is miles ahead of Broxah, 1.3k there. But we'll have to see how Fnatic are able to translate this large sum lead on Rekkles into their mid game.
This is what's so important for Fnatic. The fact that they've been able to match and answer a lot of the skirmishes from G2 means that they can transition quite cleanly from the mid into the late game. We already talked about how their team fighting can be so strong, but they also have great tools to be able to 1-3-1. If they set up pressure on the side lanes where they are stronger than the G2 members and then collapse, it's very easy for them to continue looking for fights like
Rekkles
this.
puts the feather storm to try and dodge away. Caps locked up, and Rekkles takes him out!
That's from bad to worse. If you are a G2 fan, that is the last thing that you need to have happen. Rekkles is going to be so much farther ahead on this back. They have to kill him.
Skewer doesn't land, but Jankos able to knock Rekkles back. Knows he doesn't have the ultimate for now. They'll back away. Fnatic satisfied with top and bot tower, but Wunder's coming in. Looks like he just wants to defend this mid-tier 1.
Because now here's the thing. Rekkles can just be moved from point A to point B. He's already an item, or a half an item ahead of PerkZ. On back, he's going to be a full item ahead of PerkZ. So you just walk this Fed ADC, especially Xayah, into any team fight and just win.
Hylissang face tanking onto all of G2, and PerkZ is on his way. Broxah coming in from the side. Nemesis on the top as well. Watch that Akali. See if he can jump into the backline. Not quite yet. Won't go for the engage. Fnatic happy enough. Just pushing G2 away. They're grouped up as 5 around this mountain Drake. It seems that that is their next objective.
Notice again on the mini-map how Fnatic have the top wave pushed in and the bot wave pushed in. They have these 2 strong solo laners that can maintain this level of pressure, which means that when they collapse and find a successful fight, it's easy for them to translate that into an objective. G2 are forced to catch these waves. They lost too much health in the mid lane, and now they're on the back foot.
Fnatic should be looking for a moment to take the resets if they don't find these picks.
Hylissang goes in double solar flare as Mickey jumps into the middle of it all. Jankos there as well. Broxah will take out Mickey before the death bug from below can connect. And Fnatic equalizes at 10 and 10. Bwipo's trading into Caps here, and it looks like Caps is taking the wrong end of that bargain.
And again, now that Fnatic are finally going to take these backs, they've gotten the Dragon, they got so many waves funneled into Rekkles, a lot of kills. They are going to be very rich and very powerful when they get back onto the Rift.
The important thing to note is just like yesterday when we saw a lot of fighting in the early game, Fnatic is the team that is converting all of these skirmishes and fights into advantages. They're the ones that have 2 towers up over G2. They're the ones that have the gold on the correct carries, and they're setting themselves up much better transitioning into the mid game. So G2, they need to regain a little bit more control over the map because the more skirmishes that they take, the more it's hurting.
And in draft, we talked about the strength of scaling coming out from Fnatic. If you're getting into the mid-game ahead, that only gets exemplified. Look at Rekkles, already has the Essence Reaver and the Rapid Fire complete on his way to an Infinity Edge.
Which means there's this tiny window where during this reset, G2 were trying to see what they got. They got some damage on the top tower. They didn't push it down. They're getting some damage on the bot tower. We'll see if they're actually able to put that one down. But right now, as soon as Fnatic, again, get their feet planted back on the Rift, start setting up for the next play, they are in a very strong position. G2 have to be creative about how they're going to get their foot back into this, and again, it's about the skirmishes.
Bwipo jumps straight onto Caps. He tries to distort away. Jankos is waiting just around the corner, going to join his teammate. Bwipo able to survive. Oh, look at the damage onto Jankos. Jankos has to use his ult just to get Bwipo off his back.
The Trinity Force is now completed for Bwipo, and he's working towards his Spear of Shojin. This guy is exceptionally strong, and you're seeing what he's capable of doing in a side lane. And it's already got to a point where no one on the side of G2 can handle him. So they need to be finding 3v3s or 2v2s without Bwipo being there. But again, because of how easy it is for Fnatic to generate pressure on a side lane, it should be easier for them to group up and force fights that should always be in their favor.
This is the Rubik's Cube. You know, where do you force the skirmish if you don't want it to be around Bwipo? And Nemesis also having completed the Gunblade, you have to be very careful about that lane assignment as well. Fnatic, they have so many tools about how they want to execute on this map, which is why it feels like at this point in the game, any objective that they walk up to, G2 are looking to try to trade.
Now Fnatic will take the Rift Herald. G2 not going to find a trade anywhere on the map. Both Nemesis and Bwipo have pushed in the side lanes. And we saw last week how devastating Fnatic can be with a lead. They are not a team that slows the pace of the game. They are a team that continues to accelerate through the mid-game into the late game if they ever get hit there. And with this Rift Herald, you have to expect they're going to do that again. Hylissang flashed in, wasn't able to find his mark. And now G2 will continue just to try and defend their mid-tower. The Cullen comes out, won't connect onto Rekkles. And PerkZ really not having the impact so far in this game he'd want.
It is a bit dangerous for Fnatic as they approach this mid-tower to try to push it down. If you had something like a Gragas, which is what G2 have capable, then approaching mid-tower becomes that much safer because you can kind of sweep people off of it. So it feels like Fnatic are going to be more reliant on either Broxah using the Gragas cast to defend it or getting a pick in this mid.
Well, Caps is looking for the pick. He jumped in, but Rekkles will pop the Featherstorm straight away. One of the strengths of Xayah is the ability to get away from dodge when you need to, and Rekkles has shown a couple of times how happy he is to pop that ult to make sure he doesn't take any damage.
So Fnatic, we're approaching the 20-minute mark now, and they sit with a 2K gold lead. The Jax is incredibly strong, just hit that level 12 mark, and as both of you were saying earlier, the Gunblade being completed for the Akali as well means that she is a potent side lane threat. Notice how G2 very afraid to push past the river. They recognize that if they overextend, it's very easy for Fnatic to collapse, especially with all of their teleports up and available. With the Baron spawning relatively soon, I feel like we should start to see vision and priority shift towards that side of the map. Not necessarily to start it, but to use it as an objective to force the opposition into a fight, which is mainly what I think Fnatic is looking for, considering right now how strong they feel.
We'll see if Fnatic can use that Baron, the next objective, to draw G2 into a 5v5. At the moment, they have a 2,000 gold lead, but G2 are sieging their mid lane tower. Hylissang trying to act as that front line, gets pulled back. The solar flare comes out, though, and it hits on 2. Mickey has to flash away. Jankos uses the barrel, but Wunder gets caught as he charged in from the side.
And that is so many key ultimates from G2 used to try to break this mid lane tower, but it doesn't falter. Fnatic have to reset their cooldowns, but I expect this game to get stalled out. Again, they're really going to struggle to try to break this, I think they need to utilize their side lane strength that Vedius was talking about, you know, kicking out the Akali or kicking out the Jax into one of those side lanes, using them as a pressure point to leverage, because if you just continue to walk at this mid lane tower, we're going to continue to A-ramp, push the waves back and forth. There's just too much wave clear.
Yeah, you need to split G2 up and then threaten a potential flank. So you have to set up a deep push, but in order to do that, you need deep vision in the enemy side of the jungle, which right now is what Fnatic is not investing into. But at the same time, they don't need to accelerate this game. They feel very comfortable. They're quite happy to just slowly stack this farm, and they also have the Rift Herald. So this is the easiest way to secure that mid tower. Now we see Bwipo getting collapsed on, but he has nothing to fear. Jax is just going to jump out to save.
But using the Rift Herald in tandem with that pressure point.
Hylissang called out. Yeah, he went a little bit too deep trying to protect the Rift Herald.
Using the Herald in tandem with the pressure point of Bwipo into that bot lane, making sure that they didn't have all 5 members of G2 under the tower and that the Herald would secure pushing down that mid lane. So important to take that from the objective, because now Fnatic can really start speeding this game up again.
See if they can. G2 are going to answer with a mid tower of their own. 3-3 in the turret score. Fnatic have a couple of dragons in their back pocket. Rekkles pops the Feather Storm, but the hook, it still pulls him back, and Jankos goes in. That was beautiful from G2. Perfection in a nutshell, and now Fnatic on the double team Ps to try and get back into the fight. Wunder was coming in the side, but Fnatic cannot answer for their AD carry's death.
Mickey makes up for his early game blunders with a beautiful hook onto a Rekkles that had already flashed away. Great pick, results in a tower kill in favor of G2, but they can't convert it into much more.
But the key thing that I want to underline is the flash being down.
Look at the Jax. Bwipo chasing down PerkZ. PerkZ doesn't have flash anymore, but he has got a blast cone and he hasn't got a light. Bwipo shuts down PerkZ.
Got him. And now both AD carries missing their flash. That means that when we fight over this big Baron that both these teams like to take between 23 and 25 minutes, Rekkles and PerkZ are playing on a nice
Caps is going for this, straight onto Rekkles, but the solar flare will land, and Caps dived into his former team and was denied his kill. Now Fnatic going to start up the Baron. G2 trying to answer it, but Fnatic have found the fight they want. They found the pick already. PerkZ already dead. He's down for another 13 seconds. Nemesis on the front line, and G2 can do nothing about this. The first Baron of finals goes to Fnatic.
Or I guess Caps is just going to jump into his death, and Fnatic will be like, this is free. We don't even have to 5v5 for this.
G2 are faltering just like they did last week, and Fnatic are more than happy to punish. While the kill score is even, Fnatic have continuously come out ahead in the trades, and they do so once more. It all starts with here. PerkZ basing next to a ward, and Bwipo flashes on top of him to help secure that kill. Nemesis is in tow to help secure it, and this just gives them control. They think that by having a numbers advantage, it then gives them access over the Baron, and they can get mid-prio. But then, G2 should have just conceded this. Instead, Caps jumps to his death. The chain CC coming through beautifully from Fnatic's duo, and then Nemesis just zones G2 away to allow Fnatic to secure the first Baron of final.
Yeah, frankly, just a huge mistake there for Caps.
And now Fnatic with the power of Jax in a side lane. Trinity Force and Spirit of Sojourn. Baron empowered minions pushing in that side wave. Nemesis going up towards top. It's the 1-3-1 that you two have both mentioned throughout the course of the game. Fnatic can enact it now and look to pressure G2, just like they did Schalke yesterday.
But now it's just about lane assignments for Fnatic. Their Akali and Jax are a very big deal. It's going to be hard, and even they don't have to wait for the side lanes. You can see how much damage Rekkles is doing because he was snowballed so far ahead, already completed 3 items on the Xayah. Everyone is online for Fnatic, and G2 just have to figure out how they're going to stop the bleeding, but they will surely give up something else on the map when they decide to commit their members.
We'll see if Fnatic can break into the G2 base with this Baron. 2 minutes left on it. At the moment, Nemesis and Bwipo just keeping those side waves interesting for G2, but the mid wave, the mid tower still yet to fall. Rekkles trying to clear out a little bit of vision off towards the side, and the cannon minion is doing all the work. PerkZ eventually will clear it away, but that tower is 1 shot from down. Fnatic continue to push G2 back, continue to pen them back in this game.
Patient play from Fnatic, just divide and conquer. Force G2 to split up. Use the fact that you have level advantages and item advantages to bully these members away. Bait G2 to come to you to allow you to secure these objectives, and Nemesis demonstrating it beautifully in the bottom of your screen. 2 members go top, Fnatic trade it for 2 towers.
And now Fnatic are just going to knock straight on this door. Mickey on the front line, Hylissang's going to get stunned up, but they're just looking for the tower. Hylissang down to about half HP, the Ignite ticking away, but PerkZ doesn't have the mana to answer back. Bwipo's pushed in that bot lane, that wave is about to hit the turret as well. Nemesis backing away, doesn't have teleport, so can't rejoin this fight too soon. And G2 have been able to hold on to their inhibitor towers.
Yeah, it looks like instead Fnatic are going to reset. The Mountain Dragon will be spawning in 1 minute. It felt like the waves weren't quite as synced as Fnatic would have wanted to have them all crashing 3 times, but nonetheless, they get both the mid and the bot tower, so still obviously an advantageous play, 3,000 Baron.
I feel like it also just sets up nicely for the next Baron and next Baron Drake, because by securing those objectives, they can probably still use the next 30 seconds to secure the tier 2 in top lane, and that means that they can gain full control over the top side jungle and just leave Bwipo to split push in the bot side of the map. Once the Baron ends and respawns, he will have his TP up and available, and look, G2 think this half of the map belongs to them. It doesn't.
Caps locked up, flashes away from the solar flare, and the rest of G2 will escape. Well, Jankos at least survives. Mickey, though, caught out a little bit by Nemesis, will just dodge away, and Fnatic are controlling the map impeccably. The Mountain Drake up in 5 seconds time. Baron, just a little bit of time before that one comes back up as the Baron buff has worn off, but Fnatic used it beautifully.
Slow and steady wins the race is what Fnatic is talking about right now. They don't need to rush anything. They know that the next Baron is theirs. They know they're going to secure this next mountain, and with double mounting, securing the next spawning Baron will be huge, and that means for G2, they're hoping for a last-ditch fight. But with their comp, it was all about finding those successful early skirmishes. But Fnatic answered so perfectly. They traded evenly in the early game, and they were the ones converting those skirmishes into objectives, which meant that they came into the mid-game with this lead, and now G2 finds themselves in a position where unless they find the perfect team fight, it's going to be very difficult for them to come back into game 1.
And I think that perfect team fight does start with the vision control, because G2's composition is still kind of a sucker punch comp. If they find you and you don't know that they're there, they can just kill you.
But Hylissang is the tankiest member of Fnatic. Jankos goes golden for the second. Caps trying to get him from the side. Rekkles uses the Feather Storm. Hylissang's still alive, and Jankos will be shut down. Here comes the charge in from the side as G2 are looking for the fight. Hylissang's going to go down. Off towards the side as well. Mickey has fallen, and Fnatic are coming out on top. G2 can do nothing about it. Wunder's dismounted. G2 destroyed as Fnatic find the fight.
And you hit the key point there. The tankiest member, it was Hilly that they found. If it was Nemesis, if it was Rekkles, if it was even Broxah, you have Gragas, you have LeBlanc, you have Pyke. You should be able to just immediately assassinate someone, but they couldn't find the target that they needed. G2 have been kicked around all game, forced off of the Baron, double mountain. Fnatic can take whatever they want.
PerkZ right now looking for Bwipo. But he doesn't realize that Nemesis and Broxah are right behind him.
I think he does now, Vedius. PerkZ going to dodge away, but Nemesis is on the chase. Fnatic are on the chase, and Bwipo takes his 3rd kill of the game. Caps behind enemy lines here, maybe thinking Rekkles is going to start off the red buff. He knows it. Rekkles jumps on, flashes away. Caps on the chase. Rekkles, oh, it's all Rekkles! It's all Rekkles and Hylissang! It's all Fnatic! Caps cannot find the pick, and Fnatic slap him down.
Fnatic now sit with a 9,000 gold lead, 28.5 minutes in. So many people wondered, would Fnatic crumble after their defeat versus G2 last week? And the answer is no. They smashed Schalke yesterday. They're smashing G2 in game 1. And look at the execution here from Hylissang. Notice how he flashes away from the ultimate from Mickey to prevent him getting that reset. And because he survives for so long, it gives Fnatic the time to answer back with the damage, with the shutdowns, and Fnatic walk away the victors.
In our Alienware replay, you can see Caps thinks he's got Rekkles. The Phantom Dancer shield at the end here, saving Rekkles' life. And Hylissang is there to stand by his AD carry at the end.
And the key thing for me here is that Fnatic beat G2 in Standard League of Legends. Fnatic priority was to deny Hilly his Pyke. He pulls out the Leona, and he has had some hero moments and some clutch ultimates this game. And otherwise, it's just standard. You know, there's nothing special here from Fnatic. It's not even necessarily their Aatroxes, the Karmas, the comfort picks that were taken away from them. They actually just ran a clean game back at G2 and beat them what looks like very handedly so far.
I also think that the adaptations that they showcased in the draft, the fact that they were able to get Akali, Sylas, and Xayah, we were talking about it. If you give a strong team this trio, you're immediately thinking to yourself, oh, well, that's scary. Fun fact, if you give it to Fnatic, it doesn't matter if it's G2, this team still looks really scary, and that's exactly what they've done.
To me, it kind of reeks of disrespect, and I don't think G2 will make this mistake again.
I don't think they expected Fnatic to prioritize the Sylas the way they did, considering how often they banned it last week, and Fnatic showing adaptation and development in the last week and showcasing they can still challenge challenge the likes of G2. Of course, they still have to break into the base. They still have to secure this win. But right now, things are looking great for Fnatic.
By the numbers for Fnatic, they put Nemesis in top, Bwipo in bot, and now G2 think maybe we can find a pick on the side lane. Nemesis trying to get away, he chunks out Wunder. The charge comes out, teleport coming in behind G2 now as Nemesis goes golden for the second. Rekkles and Broxah are on their way. Bwipo fighting down towards the bottom side. Wunder trying to chase onto Nemesis. Caps is there as well, but Nemesis will take him out in the 1v3. Meanwhile, Bwipo is fighting down towards the bottom side. They'll kill Jankos. Caps trying to escape. Eventually will be able to distort away. And it looks like Mickey will escape in that push as well. Gets back to base. But meanwhile, Bwipo and Hylissang are knocking on the door of Fnatic. Rekkles is going to teleport in, and this may be game one done in favor of Fnatic.
Fnatic taking advantage of G2's last stand and just crushing them underfoot. That's going to be the first inhibitor of the game secured for Fnatic. They're looking to take game one. Rekkles.
Oh, Rekkles almost gets out. PerkZ will take him out. Caps lands the chains, but Rekkles rooted up. Doesn't really mean too much. Caps flashes away. The death from below. Stolen away by Broxah. Won't be enough damage, but now the Nexus turrets are the target. Hylissang. Rekkles. The double kill. Fnatic have not come to Athens for second place. They have come to demolish G2. And in game one, they will cast them by the wayside. Fnatic are one